how do we move from diversity to pluralism? And why is that so good anyway? One useful way to look at the impact of pluralism on society is through the lens of social science data and the concept of social capital. Social capital is the networks of relationships among people who live and work in a particular society, and is what enables society to function effectively. We participate in these kinds of networks every day, probably without even thinking about them. They could be a group of people on a sports team, members of the Neighborhood Watch, or national organizations like the NAACP. Any organization or network that connects us to other people is a source of social capital.
In his landmark book, Bowling Alone, sociologist Robert Putnam identified that religious groups are likely the single largest source of social capital in American society. Religious communities are churches, synagogues, mosques, temples, gurdwaras, and other religiously affiliated groups are where we volunteer our time and services to others, donate money to people and causes, develop and practice new civic skills, and find new communities of interest.
In his subsequent book, Better Together, Putnam distinguishes between two forms of social capital in diverse societies such as the United States: bonded social capital and bridge social capital. Bonded social capital is inward-focused and frequently associated with a tight-knit identity group, like a religious community. Groups with strong bonded social capital are easier to mobilize toward action than individuals. For example, if members from a particular synagogue get together every Saturday for services and every Wednesday for Torah study, they would be easier to mobilize for a community house building project because they have forged close ties with one another and with their community as a whole. Bridge social capital is outward-facing and involves working together across lines of difference. Maybe that same synagogue group works on the house building project alongside with their local Baha'i and humanist communities. After a couple of these house projects, it would be easier for a Baha'i person to reach out to her Jewish or humanist neighbor for assistance in other projects, even maybe support for local legislation or school reform. In this way, bonded social capital can often lead to bridge social capital, strengthening a community against conflict and division.
There is ample social science data that demonstrates that forming bridges between different groups in a society, building what sociologists call bridged social capital, and we call pluralism, is effective in disrupting conflict, preventing violence, and bringing about peaceful collaborative solutions to rising tension.
Here's some evidence. The sociologist Ashutosh Varshney conducted a study of cities in India that experienced various types of tension between different religious groups, including riots. He found that cities with sports leagues and other kinds of civic organizations that brought Hindus and Muslims together built high amounts of bridged social capital. These cities were able to manage religious tensions generally without violence. Cities that only had high amounts of bonded social capital, but little or no bridged social capital, cities where people were strongly connected to their insulated communities but had few relationships with people from different religious communities, these were the cities that were prone to deadly religious riots. In other words, the single most significant variable in preventing violence was the existence of bridged social capital. Is there a more persuasive argument for the importance of building relationships between people from different religious backgrounds?